So hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Journey to Purpose. Today I have the wonderful Linda Kane. Linda is the CEO and founder of Blue Diamond Events. Linda, welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Brilliant.
Excited.
And first easy, excited to have you. First easy question is, where in the world are you?
I am in California, USA, and I'm in Southern California. So I'm sandwiched right in between Orange County and Los Angeles County. So
Amazing.
I get the best of both worlds. I like to tell people that I'm an hour from anywhere. So I can get to downtown LA where they have the festivals and the concerts and the museums and the LA life in, 45 minutes or so. I can get out to Palm Springs where they have the hot springs and the desert and the hiking and the Jeep riding and all of that in about an hour and 15 minutes. I can get down to the beach in about 30 minutes. And we can get up to the snow in Big Bear in about an hour and a half.
Wow.
So we have been known to go to the mountains and ski for the day and then have dinner on the beach. So.
Oh, my life. That sounds amazing.
It's a really wonderful place to live.
Sounds it, definitely.
Go ahead.
Go on.
Yeah.
No, you go ahead.
It's a really wonderful place to live. And all throughout our state, Northern and Southern California, it's kind of like that because we're kind of long and skinny. So it's easy for us to get, across our state fairly fast. So like Vegas is only 3.5 hours away.
Yeah, they're awesome. My sister actually lives in Los Angeles. She's married to a Californian. She has a pretty cool life out there, I have to say. She goes hiking every morning, but she works in LA itself. And it's like, wow, who knew?
Where are they at?
They're in North Hollywood.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're along, so there's a San Gabriel Valley Mountains runs along, it comes out of Ventura, Simi Valley, runs along what they call the foothills, North Ridge, North Hollywood. And then it comes down through Pasadena, Arcadia, Covina, Glendora, and it kind of makes its way on out. And so those are the San Gabriel Valley Mountain foothills. So we're kind of in the middle there at the other end.
Oh, lovely.
So yeah, I know where they're at. Yeah, very nice.
I'm due to go out there maybe next year. Who knows?
You should.
We'll see what happens. Brilliant. Thank you. So tell us about what you do. Blue Diamond Events. How did that come about?
Oh my gosh. So from a very young age, I always liked parties and liked getting people together. My family was really big on getting people together at our home. And so from a early age, I just loved the idea of people coming together. And our house was always full. My friends were over on Friday, Saturdays. My Sunday afternoons, people would gather at our house. So when I was in high school, I was a cheerleader and song leader. So I got involved in a lot of our competition and running the competitions, organizing them, doing the workshops and things like that. And then I had a couple part-time jobs with a couple catering companies, and that led to an internship with a law firm in Los Angeles. And so I was there for about 10 years, and we did all kinds of amazing events and programs and worked with trade associations and the foundations that the firm supported, and did all the firm partner retreats and summer associate programs and just everything that you can imagine that had to do with banking, real estate, entertainment, organizing things for the firm. And in 2003, I went to a Bob Proctor event, and that was my first experience with what entrepreneurialism was and what being a speaker, author, coach was. And from there, I went back and just created my own company. And Adam Urbanski with our marketing mentors was actually my very first event client that I had. And we went on to work with him for about 10 years. And then I hired Lisa right out of high school. So I went to a work day and hired her. So I think it's always been in my blood. And I love the idea of people coming together and what they can create and what they can do. And when it's purpose driven and has a transformational angle to it, or it serves a purpose and changes lives, then that's what I really love about it. So we've been servicing the 21 years now. This summer, we've been servicing the speakers, authors, coaches, small entrepreneurs, solo entrepreneurial world with their events. We also have some insurance, real estate, health practitioners, a couple banking, and a few other people that we are busy supporting as well. So I've been able to keep the diversity in what we do. So I love that. So we're able to do small events, 10, 12 people, all the way up to thousands. We just got back from about a 600 person event in Dallas that was for one of our foundations. And that was so much fun. And 85 speakers and 600 attendees and lots of breakout sessions and good food and 4 days of total 8 days of production and 4 days of the event. So it was amazing. That's one of our real fun ones to do.
What makes a good event for you?
So what really makes a good event for us is obviously that the execution is as flawless as it can be, and the attendees have their best experience and our host has their best experience. And to get there, there's a lot of many things that take place to get there. But a really good event is when all the components have come together. If it's a financial event, they've hit the financial goals. If it's a experiential event, the experiences have all come off without a hitch. And the one that we just did, what made that such a huge success is not only did we have the attendees that we expected, but all of the presenters were amazing. They delivered above and beyond in their content. And the attendees were just raving about the best event that they had gone to as far as organizing and the experience and the level of education that they got on their subject matter and the food, the exhibits. You know, everybody likes to get free food and taste food and
I do.
and see what's new, right? So yeah, so really and truly, it's funny because people get all nervous because they're not hitting their numbers. You know, like maybe they wanted 100 people, but they only have 30. And it's like that can be the perfect event because those 30 people are the ones that want to be with you. Don't worry about the other ones. Serve the people that are there and pour out to them in such an amazing way. And we've had like coach events where they've had 30 people and they wanted 100, but they've sold 20 or 22 people in the room into their program because they've shown up as if there was 1,000 in the room. And they've given and just really poured into the people. And so their audience knows what they're going to get if they sign up with them. They know like this is this genuine soul who's going to take good care of us. And so they hit their goals. And I think that's the thing that we get stuck on, how many people are going to come to an event. And yes, we want attendees. We need them. But make your event so that it's not so budget poor and that it's more attendee rich.
Yeah, I love that. When you switched from sort of the office life to being an entrepreneur, what were the biggest challenges that you faced at the start? Can you remember now?
Oh, I can remember now, and I can tell you because they're the same. Being an entrepreneur and being in business for yourself, you know, when you work for a company, your time is pretty set. You know, you're going to pretty much be a 9 to 5. And then there might be, for us, there were projects on the weekends and, you know, during the week that we might have had to attend. But we didn't have to worry about budgets. We didn't have to worry about getting paid. We didn't have to worry about taking care of team. We didn't have to worry about balancing all those things that make a business run. So when you're an entrepreneur, you have to pay attention to that business side of your business. And it's really hard because I love the creative, being out, being at events, really working with our clients and being part of their experience. And I've had to really focus and work at being like working on my business and having that set aside every day where I'm making sure my budget's in line and making sure I'm charging enough and making sure that I've got a steady income coming in, and making sure my team is doing what they're doing, and organizing team meetings and things like that. So that's a stretch for a creative and somebody who loves to work in we can figure out what's possible, and let's find out how to make you 100K in your year. Let's do this, to go over to constantly flip over and go, oh, let's do this. And along the way, I've had a couple business managers or OBMs. And honestly, for me, for what we do here, we're so boutique and very specific about the client that we have that works with us. And we get really entrenched into our client business and their events. And so we have to keep a team environment, and we have to have people who are willing to kind of be I say like 24/6, not 7, but, there's just things that have to be done after hours. And it's not always easy to find people that are willing to do that and recognize the trade-off, because we have months where it's very steady and palatable, and we're not crazy busy. But then we have our production months, and it's like, you pretty much don't do anything unless it's client related. So
Right.
you have to work the family in and around. And all my family has been, they've all attended events. They've helped me at events. They all know how to travel. They know how to get the good deals. They know how to handle themselves in travel situations and crises and things like that. So I feel that I've, created 6 little extra travelers out there in the world.
Oh, amazing. What is it about, you said at the start you like to bring people together and always being part of a team. Is there an event that stands out as being the most amazing one that you've attended as an attendee, and because of the speaker, because of the setup? Like, do you take inspiration for other events?
Absolutely. I have a mentor or 2 every year that I work with. And I also attend events. I attend events I've attended events for potential clients. I've also attended events just for myself, and our team has also attended. I feel that education and continuing to grow is really important as an entrepreneur, as a person anyway, but especially as an entrepreneur. And seeing what other people are doing out there, the only way that you can do that is by attending an event. And so people that have like Tony Robbins, if you've never been to a Tony Robbins event, it's worth to do an online one, and it's worth to go be in an in-person one, just so you can see what at that level, what they're doing and how things are run. And it just gives you a different perspective. And it also helps you to, like, for me, it helps me to like niche down and really be focused on those higher impact events, which is what we like to put on. For myself, the best event that I ever went to for myself, I would have to say, was a JVology event with Jay Facette. That he's not currently running the brand, but it is where he brought 20, 30 people together. It was very cultivated, and each of us had something to offer the people in the room. And so a lot of joint ventures were made. But the reason that I loved it is because he focused on, how are you as a CEO? How are you showing up? And who are the ideal people for you to partner with? And so for me, that was huge, because it got my thinking different than realizing that you don't have to, as a solo entrepreneur, you're not really solo. There's a whole world out there that you can joint venture with, and people can be part of your life doing different little things, but you're still running your event, your business, the way that you want to run it. And that was probably one of my it's hard because I love like all of our events. But for me personally, that was probably one of the best ones, because it really helped to move me in reshaping and thinking how I wanted to run my business. And then I would have to say the Podcasters Cruise, not the Marketers Cruise, but the Podcasters Cruise with Michael and Krista Neely. It's about 50, 60 people, and not everybody has a podcast. So there's a little misnomer that you have to have a podcast in order to go. You can be a podcast guest who wants to be on more podcasts and go, or you can have your own podcast and go. So the criteria is a mix of guests and people who own podcasts. But it's so much fun, and the group is so heart-centered, and there's such a give in both of those communities. So you never feel like somebody's just going to sit down next to you and talk about money. They're going to sit down next to you and like, who are you? What do you do? And how can I really help? And so those have been the best two experiences I've had.
Love that. I think your observation about that small room thing is really important. So this last year, I've had 3 different mentorship groups I've been part of. And we can go from like one's pretty big, one's medium sized, one's small. And I have come to realize for me personally, I want to be in small rooms now. Like the big rooms are great for meeting people, networking, but the things that I need for my business comes into small rooms. Yeah. It's having the right conversations, the right people. And when I'm in a small room, I get attention. Yeah. Whereas when I'm in a big room, it depends on how good I am at networking. And I'm an introvert and I can network, but on some days I don't have the energy. Other days I do. It's a bit of a gamble. Yeah. But in a small room, I'm always okay. And it's interesting when you start to look at the psychology behind the different groups and how you do it.
Yeah. I love small events. We have a small event program that I help our clients go through to build out like a working retreat. We call it the Sweet Retreat process. It started because we wanted to find a way for our clients to make $50K or more in a weekend, but have it really be inexpensive for them. So we started by they would go rent a suite in a really nice hotel. And when you rent a suite, you can bring in your own food. You can kind of do what you want in the suite. You don't have to have a room block. You don't have to have all those other costs associated. So you can have 8, 10, 12 people join you in the suite. They can stay wherever they want. They can drive in. They can stay at the hotel. They can stay at an Airbnb. They can stay wherever they want. But you're just providing the space and the experience at that point. And so it made it very affordable. So we had started this process a few years back, and we called it our Sweet Retreat. Now it's basically just a small event for profit, and it's still our same model. But I love it because people can put 8, 12, 15, 16 people in a room, and you can sell into a 90-day, a 6-month, or a year long. And you're going to get 5 or 6 sales out of that room. And so if you do that 2 or 3 times a year and that's your model, it makes it really nice because you can hit 100, 150 for the year. And especially as a new coach, it works really well. Or if you're wanting just to add an extra component to the business that you already have where it's more retreat style, you can, increase your income at the same time increasing an experience for your higher end clients. And so I love those rooms. And you're right. They are more cultivated, and you can't hide in the rooms.
Yeah.
So if you're in a room of 30 and below, even 50, maximum 50, you're going to be seen in a 3-day event. You can't hide. And there's no reason for you not to walk away with some shift, some change, or some relationship that has been built over those 3 days.
Absolutely.
So they're my favorite. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it's been a revelation for me because I hadn't really considered about the room size before. And literally in the last couple of months, I've gone, hang on, in this room, I am the center of attention for all intents and purposes, which is sometimes uncomfortable. Yeah. But also it makes me shift. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And you'll shift without even trying to shift. That's the thing I love about small rooms. It's the energy that's on everybody. And then you get to a sense of familiarity by the end of the first day. You really have a sense of, if it's been facilitated correctly, by the end of the first day, you will already have a sense of who you're sitting with, who's in the room, and what you and them are capable of creating. And we see it all the time, that first night dinner, people are already connecting, going off with each other and coming back the next morning. And we did a deal last night, or we're going to work on this together. And I've seen people who love to go for a walk in the morning, and they came figuring that they were going to go on their walk in the morning by themselves, and they end up with 6, 7 people going on that walk with them,
Yeah,
so yeah, it's really
that's
fun.
brilliant. What do you think the secret is to building good connections?
First of all, you have to be open, and for people that are introverted, that's a little bit harder. So think of the 3 things that are very easy for you to talk about, and use those as your openers and your starters with other people. And that takes that edge off. And it's like, oh, I can talk about my cat or my dog all day long. And so you can start a conversation off with like, do you own a pet? I have a dog. Her name is Madison. And this is a true story. And she brings me so much joy because she's a little Pomeranian and she's a teacup size. And
Oh, bless.
she's like always into stuff and follows me around. And it's almost like when I have a bad day or I have a day where there's a bump, I call them a bump in the road, and I have a bump, she'll be right there. It's like miraculously she shows up. And so you can start a conversation off like that. But really what makes a good conversation and connection for people is being open and finding, I like to find 3 things that can be something that opens, it doesn't make you vulnerable, that's easy to talk about. And then once that door is open, then it's just really being a good listener. Listen to what the other person is saying, what they're talking about. And then that opens the door for you to ask questions. And in asking those questions, the conversation and the connection will open up and blossom.
Love that. That's really helpful. Thank you. So with your business now, so you have going for 21 years, is there an evolution for you that you're looking for? So you talked about authoring, speaking. Obviously you're speaking on my podcast. Are you doing more of that as well for yourself in other places?
Yes. So a couple years ago, I started really focusing on the Linda Kane International piece of the business. And then our Blue Diamond is our production where we're doing the events for our clients and producing events. We will be doing our own retreat next year. So we're starting to work on that. I'll be announcing that in January. So I'm super excited about that. And, but then more teaching, more training, more getting out and speaking. And I really love talking to this small event, big profit style, because it honestly is not very difficult to put 20, 30 people in a room. And you don't have to have a huge list in order to do that. And if you start with a grassroots effort just in your own hometown or in your own area, and you get out and, go to chambers, just meet people, get connected and start pushing that out locally, before you know it, you've started to build up a following. And if you already have a following, it's pretty easy to draw from your following. And we've done events where we've had one guest speaker on each of the days, and they get to come, they get to have the retreat experience, but they have to bring 10 people with them. And so that's an easy way for people to bring their people, and you find some synergy together. So you can partner with them. You can, with a small event, you can partner. And when I say partner, you always stay in charge, but you have somebody who helps you by giving them a platform for their message that matches your message, and then they help fill the room. And then you can come up with an easy win-win for each other, if there's a, without getting too much in the details, but there's ways of making it so that it works and your partnership will work and you can repeat that. But I know it's just our clients who have been doing these smaller events, higher level experiences, seem to be not having any kind of problem getting people to come, because 20, 30 people want to get together. And it's harder to get, people are really hungry for those really good, strong relationships. And if you start at the grassroots level, you're actually building a community within a community. And it creates people getting to know each other within your community, and then they get to know you. And so they're going to be more apt to refer you.
Got it. Love it. How do you feel about online events? Do you think they're as effective as they should be, or do you think they're a good idea still?
I love events. I don't care if they're online, if they're in person, if
You're
they're
so
at
easy to
midnight,
please.
if they're at 2 a.m., if they're, you know, but honestly, virtual events, there's definitely a place and a need for virtual events, especially having gone through what we've gone through in the last 5 years, and the world has changed how we communicate, how we reach each other, and the need to reach more people. And people can't always travel. So the beauty of doing a small in-person event is that you're going to bring in the people that want to be with you. And you're not worried about, and if they come from the UK or they come from Australia or they come from Mexico, that's great. Canada, that's great. But in a virtual event, you can definitely reach more people. If you're a US based person, you can definitely reach more people by, in other countries by doing a virtual event. So they have a place. The challenge that we have with virtual events is that, and I think even all events right now, even in-person events, is there's so many options. So as a event leader, you have to really make sure that what you're going to offer, what you're going to promise that they're going to take away from the event of spending 3 days with you, you have to make sure that you really have that all together and that it's intact and that you're not throwing the spaghetti at the wall, so to speak, while you're doing your event. And people get so focused on how many people they're going to have in the room that they don't really map out knowing who's in the room, so they know if they're teaching and training, if it's really going to reach the people that are coming. So I like to see our clients do some sort of an assessment process. So when you sign up for an event, you get an assessment. So they kind of get to know you before the event. And then that way, the things that they're planning to teach and train you on, they can tweak it just enough for the audience so that you really do get what you came for. So the sales process is one thing, and the marketing process, but then the creation of the event is secondary to that once you know who's going to be at the event. And then the offer, making sure your offer is good. And the virtual events, the hard thing is getting people to be in person, to not just come with their video off. And I've done it myself. I've actually been guilty of having 2 events going at the same time on 2 different laptops so that I could I didn't want to miss either of them. And I realized, you know what? Stop. I'm not going to watch the video. If I'm not going to go to the event, the chances are I'm not going to watch the video. Let's be honest. I might pick at it and grab, I really wanted to see that guest speaker, and I might grab that. Or I really wanted to hear how they did this process, and I might find that to do it. But in all honesty, in 21 years of being around this, and in the last 5 years of so much content being put out, I have to honestly say that most of my clients, we've done a survey, and most of our clients, 80% plus of our clients, they don't watch the recordings either. So stop buying. Stop it.
It's so true.
Time out, people. Decide on, go to events and don't worry, because that person will have another event. Trust me. And that offering will be out somewhere, sometime. It'll be on YouTube. You can get it in the future. It'll be a bonus for something. It's just the nature of how coaching and how this world works. And that's not going to change. We're always going to offer our best class, best course, best whatever as a bonus in the future. We're always going to try to sell those 3 days. If you can't come, buy the ticket, you still get the recording. And that's still a good practice to do. I don't say not do it, but as a end user, flipping it, as an end user, don't overbuy. If you know you're not going to look at it, watch it, just save that $200 for later, because it'll come back around. And instead, spend that $200 and show up every day with your video off. Pretend you're in the room close out the world around you, pretend you're in San Francisco at a hotel and you have to be here, or you're in Brisbane, Australia, and you have to be here, and take your video off and be with the host. And if people would just stop and do that, and I know that there are times where, depending on the timing of the virtual event, and that this has happened to me too, where, it's starting at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning and I get up for it. I'm really tired. So, I might not have my video on because maybe I didn't really shower yet or not, but I wanted to attend the event. So there are those exceptions. And the flip side, if we have an event here in California and we are wanting our UK friends or our Australia friends to join, I have to recognize that at some point their video is not going to be on because they're going to either be lying in bed, falling asleep listening to me, or just getting up or something. So with those exceptions understood, for the most part, if you're going to go to a virtual event, give it your all as if you had flown there, drove there, paid the ticket to get there, and being in the room and, having, and just being that presence. And if each of us will do that, then the virtual events will be as impactful as they were when they first came out. They're still impactful, but it is harder to get people to show up, and it is harder to get people to stay on and be present. And there's nothing worse than a host. I would rather our hosts have 15, 20 people that were live with them in the virtual space, paying attention, engaging, having conversations as if they were in person, than to have 300 or 400 people with their video off.
Yeah,
it's hard on the host.
Mm-hmm. It is, and it's a lot of energy that goes into hosting, whether you're online or in person. Totally get that.
Yeah. So we've gotten acceptable, because at first you had to be on. You wanted people to see you. People wanted to see you. You engaged. You chatted. You went into breakout rooms, and now complacent. We've kind of gotten a little complacent with virtual events, and which is sad because they really can be fantastic, and a lot of our clients have really great ones. But since there's nothing like being in person where you can touch someone, sit with them, go have a coffee, to replicate that in the virtual space, you have to have the attendees. The attendee has to be there. They have to give their all to be there too, because a host can provide the breakout times. We can provide fun exercises and games. We could gamify it. We could put everything that you need in one location on a dashboard. We can make it as convenient for you as we can. We can make it experiential. We can have a breath work done. We can have yoga. We can do a dance party. We can do karaoke. I mean, there's all these things we did a wine tour party. We sent wine out to everybody in a little gift basket. And then the host put the wine sommelier put a GoPro on his head, and he went out and walked the vineyards and held the grapes up, and
oh wow,
we got to see the grapes and talked about the grapes. And then he came back and then stood at the bar and he opened a bottle of white. We opened ours at home and did a little taste test, and then he opened the red, and it was amazing and people loved it. So you can create experiences, but if the audience has their video turned off and the host is creating this experience with themselves and one or two people, it can be discouraging. And so I would encourage people not to be complacent. Choose to be at that event and be at that event wholeheartedly, because there's a reason that you chose to buy it and to be there. So find out what that reason is by showing up.
Brilliant. Love that. And I know I kind of want to do a virtual wine tour. Sounds amazing.
Oh, yeah. So fun. So we did breathwork one time, and we just slowly watched, like, everybody put their laptops so the host could see them, or their desktop so the host could see them. So some people were lying on a couch. Some people were on the grounds, different places. Some people were in their bed. And it was really fun because we did it as the last exercise for one of the events for one of the evenings. And the hosts and I were just enjoying watching people go off to slumber.
Definitely.
It was really great. So
that was amazing. So last big question, really. If someone wants to run their own event or start an event, what sort of top 5 things would you say they have to consider before they do it?
All right. So the best 5 things to start your own event. Number 1 is, who is your audience? Who do you want to serve? And where do they hang out so you know where to find them? So get clear on who the event is for, who that audience is. And if it's if it's not your audience, you have a whole nother group of things to deal with, because you're going to have to go find the right people. So make sure you're doing an event that either meets your current audience or spend some time in visibility to find your audience and get them to, who you are. So it's knowing who's right, knowing who you're targeting to have at the event, making sure you can find those people or you have those people. The second thing is looking at your visibility factor. How far do you have to stretch to bring the people into your event? Do you have affiliates that can help you? Do you have partners that can help you? Do you have past clients that will help you fill the room, spread the word, things like that? The third thing is your budget. Do you have the kind of budget to do a in-person event, or do you need to stay virtual and build up toward a in-person event? So looking at budget is the third thing. The fourth thing is mapping out how you're going to, what your marketing is going to be, what your marketing map is going to be. And so you might need to do list building. So you might need to do a summit or do some giveaway activities or a challenge activity to bring people to you. If you've already got a good solid base that you can draw from, then you can go right into masterclass series, a challenge series to enroll people. The fifth thing is be prepared to speak, get on stages, get known, get visible, get on podcasts, spread your message, spread your word. So if they do those 5 things, then they'll end up with a successful event.
And of course, number 6 is find you.
Oh, of course. We're happy to always have a conversation. They can come to a training if they'd like. And people can just have a conversation with me too. And I love finding 6 figures hiding in everybody's business.
Amazing.
Because even if you're we have clients that make a lot, and even they will have those times where they need a cash infusion. And it's like, great, let's do a pop-up event. And here's what it's going to look like. And they can make 50, 60,000 in a weekend. So
Amazing.
There's a lot of different things that you can do.
Thank you. Linda, how do people find you, online or in person?
Oh, they can find me at, our website's in being redone this fall. But it's Events by Blue Diamond. There's no E in the blue. So eventsbybluediamond.com, or they can email me at lindakaneoffice@gmail.com. And the best way is just to text me at 626-252-2834. And just send me a text and we'll get connected and go from there.
Amazing. I'll put all those links in the show notes as well. Linda,
wonderful.
Thank you so much. Really interesting to hear about everything. And I feel like I'm ready to maybe not run an event, but find one that has a wine tasting going on. That's it. That's my next event.
I think we could do a wine tasting for your community for the holidays. You should consider maybe just doing a networking evening and having a wine tasting.
Love that.
And for the community, just to get to know each other. Yeah.
That's not a bad idea. Linda, thank you ever so much. It's been wonderful.
You're welcome. Talk to you soon. Thanks for having me.
Bye.